Hey guys, just before I start driving the car, I'm going to read this definition from the Oxford Dictionary to you. Bigot. A bigot is a person who is obstinately or unreasonably attached to a belief, opinion, or faction, especially one who is prejudiced against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular group. So, that's a bigot. So, I don't even know if I'm going to post this video. I know it's probably not going to be worth it. It's going to cause more problems than it's worth, probably. And I know that because what's triggered this video has been that the last week we released 2 videos. One was about, it was called Bigoted Fool. So it was about a myth that was posted. A guy posted a myth about Japan not liking face masks and used an image of a lady, what appeared to be a Muslim lady wearing a burqa. So the comments underneath that video brought out all sorts of bigotry. And the other one was the one about the Japanese politician who got slapped at a Kurdish festival. And that brought out all sorts as well. And I'll just throw this in. I'll just throw this in right now. One guy on the myth video, on the burqa video, he said, I don't like Muslims, Jews, or blacks, and I don't care if I'm called a racist or something like that. And after I'd already been reading the dozens of other comments that was sort of, you could see their thinking was similar to his, but the comments were very carefully worded to try and not be so blatant, right? But really their meanings were the same. People were basically saying the same thing. One guy said if I walked into a convenience store, I wouldn't know if that was a terrorist or a ninja, so I'd leave the store. So his thinking and the other guy's thinking was similar, but the other guy was more honest and actually responded to him and said to him, your comment has been the most honest, bigoted comment that we've had today. And he said that I'm going to be honest about being a racist. And it was sort of refreshing because a lot of the other comments, you could see their thinking was similar to his, but they're trying to word it in such a way to make themselves sound not so bigoted, which is sort of hard to do when you're bigoted, right? So, oh God, I wish I hadn't got into this already. So I'll just give you my opinion on a couple of things. I just had to address this because I've been reading all these comments this week and it's just, I wanted to address it. So I think if there's probably been people who've had bigoted ideas about other groups of people since humans started walking around, that probably right from the beginning there'd be, oh, that group over there, that group's they're all weird, that group, or they're all bad, that group, or they're evil, or God doesn't like those people over there. God loves us and doesn't love them, and that's probably been happening since beginning of time, right? That people have these beliefs about other people being not as good as them or bad or whatever because they're in another group. So it's probably always been the case, and it probably always will be the case. But just some observations for you. One is that in Australia and in Japan, I've been friends with Muslim people, Jewish people. I gave this a lot of thought before. I was thinking all these different examples. Muslim people, Jewish people, black people, gay people. So both in Australia, I had friends that were all those different people, and in Japan, I've had friends that are all those different people. And on the internet, through YouTube and through Patreon and so on, I've had friends that are all those different people and from all different countries of the world. And what I've observed is that lots of those people are really nice, decent, hardworking people, and not really any different to me in the way they live, in the way they do things, And so I think that's helped realise, that in any of these groups, I mean the Muslim group in particular, where do we start there? There's 2 billion Muslim people in the world, and the ones that I've known in Australia and here have just been normal, hardworking, decent people. And to assume that 2 billion people are all that every one of them, is a terrorist. I mean, that's statistically, even if you just look at it purely mathematically, look at how many Muslim terrorists there are, and how many Muslims there are, then just the logic of that doesn't hold up mathematically, does it? To assume that. I mean, if 2 billion Muslim people were aggressive, then they'd take over the world because there's 2 billion of them, right? It's not what they're doing. It's not what the majority of them are doing. So those sorts of comments, you know, assuming that the lady wearing a burqa in the 7-Eleven is a terrorist, I mean, really, the lack of logic to that is ridiculous, you know. On that too, the whole point of that video was to point out that myth that guy was peddling, that in Japan people don't cover their faces because it interferes with them having good connections with other people. That was what he was saying, which is total BS. Anybody who's visited Japan for even a week would know that Japanese people with wearing masks abound, you know. Young people here wearing hoodies and masks, you know, so that all you see is their eyes. They abound. They're everywhere. We were in a food court yesterday and there's a bunch of them all sitting there staring at their games. All had their hoodies up over their heads and their masks on. So with their heads down, you couldn't even see their eyes. When they looked up, all you could see was their eyes. It abounds here, people hiding behind their clothing. You know, and I've got to say, I've always found any sort of face covering, any sort of mouth covering, I've always found it that interferes with good communication. I don't know if you can see this, but the lady in the car right next to us is sitting there with her mask on, right? Myth busted. But I've always found that people wearing mouth coverings of any description, I find it really frustrating because it does interfere with good communication. You know, when I go to the post office or the bank or the convenience store and the staff members there say, with the mouth covered, I find it interferes with good communication. I can't see their face either, which is sort of seems to interfere with good communication too. However, that's their right. If they want to cover their mouth with a mask because they're scared of germs or because they're whatever their reasons. I mean, there's lots of reasons people here do that. Some of them have allergies. Some of them are just socially awkward and uncomfortable and like to hide from other people behind their masks. Some ladies here wear them because if they wear a mask when they go out, they don't put makeup on. There's all sorts of reasons. So, you know, I don't like talking to people that are covering their mouth, but it's their right. It's their right. And to judge people based on that, you know, who cares? You know, who cares? If they want to cover their mouth, that's fine. The other one is with religion. To be honest with you, I'm regretting this video as I'm making it. I don't even know if I'm going to release this. Oh, I'm digging myself a hole. To be honest, when it comes to religion, I don't believe any of it. Right? I don't believe any of it. I think they're all equally, for me, they're all equal. You know, whether you believe in Islam or you believe in Christianity or you believe in Judaism or you believe in Shintoism or Buddhism or whatever you believe in, I think they're all the same. I don't accept any of them, right? But I also accept that other people have a right to do it. So if other people want to believe these things, I believe they have a right to do it. If other people want to cover their face for whatever reason, or cover their head, or do whatever, eat special foods or not eat special foods, or whatever it is that they want to do, for whatever reason they want to do it, then I don't care. Why would I care? And I've known people who do all those things. You know, I knew Orthodox Jews in Australia and who were decent people. I've known, you know, not to say there aren't people in any group that aren't doing bad things. You know, I mean, there's a country that calls itself a Christian country at the moment, led by a leader who says he's a Christian, who's currently conducting a war that the rest of the world thinks is illegal. That's not to say that Christians are bad people. One of my dearest family friends in Australia is a Christian minister, a Uniting Church Christian minister. Lovely lady. So, you know, lumping everybody together just based on whatever group they're a part of, to me it's irrational. It's irrational because to assume that everybody in a certain group is the same based on just because they're in a particular group, it's irrational because logic can show us. I mean, all you have to do is meet these guys. You have to meet people from all these different groups to know that it's not true. It's not true. My Muslim friend who runs a kebab shop, who who's a really good guy, loads up my kebabs because he wants me to take him flying. He's a lovely, lovely guy. He's not trying to. He's never once talked to me about Islam. Not once has he tried to talk to me about it. Not once has he tried to bomb anybody. You know, he's just a dude, same as me. His beliefs about those particular things are different to mine. But he's not trying to take over the world or, you know, scare anybody or do anything. All he's trying to do is make some excellent kebabs and earn some money to feed his family and look after himself. He'd be a good citizen in Japan. He's a good citizen in Japan, no doubt about it. I'd like to live next door to him. He's a good guy, you know. So lumping everybody together, you know. So the only excuse I have for making this video is that it does relate to being in Japan. As a straight white male living in Australia, I was never subject to bigotry, right? Because straight white males, you know, usually don't get much in the way of bigotry, right? So I never really experienced it. But living a couple of decades in Japan, I have experienced it. And it's similar to the comments on those videos. It ranges from really blatant, like our guy that said, I don't like black people, Jewish people, Muslim people, and I'm a racist, right? He said all those things. The comments are still on the video if you want to go look at them. And it's similar when you're a foreigner in Japan, is that you get people that are that blatant. You know, I've had an old guy walk past me once when I was talking to a cop who's walked past and he's going, guys, you're like, dumb it. So foreigners are bad. Right. I was standing talking to a copper outside a shop that had burnt down, and this old guy walked past, and just out of nowhere, I hadn't done anything, I hadn't said anything to him. As he's walked past, guys, you're like, dumb it. Foreigners are bad, right? So he's the equivalent of our honest racist, you know. And then you get the subtle stuff, which is the things like, you know, when I went to the real estate agent and they only showed me the crappy apartments, and then later when my Japanese friend came with me and we went in there, then they showed us the new nice apartments because, okay, the Japanese guy's going to rent it. Okay, let's go look at the good ones. So you get the whole range. So once you've been bigoted against, you know, you've been on the downside of the bigotry or on the incoming side of the bigotry, and you know what it's like, you know. And I mean, that's just two examples, but I could give you 100 examples of bigotry that I've experienced here. And sometimes, same as the comments under the videos, sometimes it's sort of an innocent bigotry. You know, Japanese people do it all the time. Foreign people don't do this, do they? Foreign people don't do that, do they? Foreign people do this, don't they? Because they've seen something on TV where an American or a Dutch guy or a French guy or some guy in another country did something or said something, and so they assume that all foreigners think like that all foreigners do that or don't do that, and you get that here all the time. And it's innocent bigotry where they assume that because one foreigner does that, that all the foreigners do that, and that's why as a foreigner in Japan we get the negative result of the bad behaviour of other foreigners. So that's why I said on that video, it's amazing, it doesn't matter how clearly you explain something, you know, your opinion or what you're thinking in a video, there's always people that will misinterpret it, misrepresent it, always, including this one, no doubt. But on that one about that guy getting slapped, I said that violence is never the answer, and I said that he hasn't done us any favours, because what he's done there is he's perpetuated one of the myths about foreigners, is that we're all violent. And so a lot of Japanese people will see that and say, oh yeah, there you go, another violent foreigner. Exactly, which is what some of the bigots said underneath that video too. So, you know, and then someone said to me, oh, you're supporting violence. How? I said violence is bad. I said that guy's done the wrong thing there by hitting that guy, because it's going to make, you know, it's going to perpetuate that thing about foreigners being violent, right? But it also proves a couple of things. Probably the takeaways from this video, I mean, different people are going to react to different shit in this video for sure, but for people that are coming to Japan and how it relates to us being in Japan, is the first one is that if you're not Japanese and you come and spend time in Japan, you will be subject to bigotry. Another one just came to mind. I walked into a ryokan once, and Japanese inn, and I walked in, walked into the Genkan, and this old guy's come out, and he looked around the corner, and as soon as he saw me, he went, mata, gaijin, more foreigners, he said, really unimpressed. Really unimpressed. More foreigners. So if you come to Japan for any period of time, you're very likely to experience bigotry. You just got to accept it. These guys there'll always be people that have these opinions. Since the beginning of time, there's been people that have had these bigoted opinions in other groups. It'll always be the case, and there'll be nothing that you can say or do that's going to change their thinking. So we're going to experience it. The other thing I'd observe is that it's another reason we have to mind our behaviour here. I mean, there's a whole heap of reasons we've got to mind our behaviour here just to be good people, but one of the other reasons is that I sort of see myself as being an ambassador for all the foreigners in Japan, right? So when I'm dealing with people, because there's a good chance when you're dealing with a Japanese person here, they might not have dealt with a foreigner before. So if you behave really well and really politely and really gently and really kindly and do all the right things and say all the right things, then that might just help change their perspective on foreigners. They might go, oh yeah, I met a foreigner and he was all right, and it might give them a more positive image of what foreigners are about. And conversely, of course, if you behave badly, the people are going to come away going, oh yeah, foreigners, I met a foreigner once, it was really bad, So, and that's, of course, that's the thing with bigotry, isn't it? Is that we all get lumped in together. So I'd suggest that if we behave well, it's all we can do. And if you get subject to bigotry because people don't like foreigners, so you just got to accept it. It's just the way it is. Just roll with it. Be nice. Just be really nice. Don't react to it. That old guy that walked past and said bad foreigners, I just sort of looked at the cop, sort of, you're going to say something about that? And we just both let it go. The old guy just kept walking on, and we both let it go, because there's no point. That old guy doesn't like foreigners. It's not likely anything I can say or do is going to change it. But reacting negative to it's not going to help. Slapping that counsellor in the face obviously didn't help the situation at all. It just gives him more ammunition, So I don't know. I shouldn't have made this video. Probably it's going to be more trouble than it's worth. But I don't know. I think we have to say something. I really do. I think. We have to accept that other people are going to have their bigoted opinions, and some people really object to it. One guy really arced up, one of our long-term viewers, who's a really reasonable, decent guy, and he really arced up, didn't like me saying that at all, and called me a bigot for saying it. And he may be right. Maybe I'm bigoted against bigots, maybe, or bigoted against bigotry is probably more accurate. So maybe he's right, but I think we need to be honest. We need to be honest, and we need to speak up, because what happens is when you get those people talking about these topics, people get very emotional and they have very strong opinions. On this too, I think other opinions, if you look underneath those videos, you'll see there are a lot of opinions, and some of them are expressed really strongly, including the guy that was saying he was racist and so on. But there's no need to be abusive. There's no need. I mean, that guy, the thing I admired about that guy's post was he wasn't abusing anybody. He said, I don't like these people and I'm racist, right? And I think that's fair. I think to be honest about your opinion like that is fair. He wasn't abusing anybody. He wasn't being abusive to anybody or insulting or anything. He just said, I don't like these people and I'm racist. So I think that's a good role model, because we all have different opinions. There are racist people, there are bigoted people. Be honest about it. I think be honest about it. If you genuinely believe that all that group of people, if it's 2 billion Muslims, or if it's Jewish people or gay people or whoever it is that you think are all bad, if you genuinely believe that, then say it. Say it, and you have to accept that definition though. If that's your opinion, then that's okay, and it's okay if you express it without abusing anybody or being insulting or rude. That's okay, but you have to accept that if that's your opinion, that you think all that group of people are bad, you have to accept it, that you're a bigot. You have to accept it and say, okay, I'm a bigot, I'm a bigot, I disagree with all bigotry, right? Or I'm a bigot, I don't like that group of people. Or I'm a racist, I don't like that group of people. At least be honest about it without the insults. Because I think free speech and everybody having their opinions and talking about things is good. But when it becomes insults and abuse, there are a couple in those comments. One guy was really abusive to me and used a whole heap of insults. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Because he thought that I was actually supporting that violence against that guy. I mean, I was to be honest, I was bemused by that. Because I'd made a video recently. In that video I talked about how a comedian, I heard a comedian say once that someone had acted with all the confidence of someone who'd never been punched in the face. And that politician, you know, going out insulting and abusing and being, you know, aggressive towards people and saying all the foreigners should go home and all the stuff they're saying was sort of being antagonistic. And that he, you know, the surprise when he got slapped in the face and lying on the ground, I was sort of bemused by it. But I think violence is a big mistake, because as soon as anybody's violent, they're the bad guy, you know. And I think the guy that hit him. Oh, by the way, someone was going on about how those guys, the Kurdish people, were all wearing PKK uniforms. I saw a video since then. You know, I didn't see any PKK uniforms, and the person that slapped that guy was just wearing a normal shirt, so I didn't see anything there. But I mean, that was a big mistake. It's much better just to let that guy go on with his nonsense and be the stronger, better person, and just accept that's his opinion. He can stand there and go on about foreigners should go home and everything else. Yeah, all right, okay, and not go home. That's how you get back at people like that. You know, I buy my house and pay my taxes and feed my kids and behave myself, and I'm nice to people and nice to my neighbours and nice to everybody I meet. That's how I get back at the bigots, is that I behave well. You know, slapping people is just it just falls into the stereotype of bad behaving foreigner. Then falls into the bigotry, doesn't it? See, and that's the way they think here, and you get that. What are they? Tashkani, Moshiron. So if they see bad behaviour from a foreigner, you often hear Japanese people go, Moshiron, foreigners, and we get that. I do actually get a lot of bigotry in the comments underneath the videos by Japanese people who leave their comment in Japanese, and it'll be bigotry. Oh, of course, you're a foreigner, you do this and you say that and you do this and you say that. It's all bigoted stuff, you know. And so if you behave badly, those sort of characters will go, oh yeah, of course you're a foreigner, that's why you do that bad behaviour. So, not good. So, okay, in the end, people are going to take different things from this and react to different things to this. Please don't be abusive or insulting. If you want people to see your comments, leave your honest ideas and thoughts and opinions on any of this that you want to, that's fine, without the insults or abuse, because the YouTube system picks up on that now. They've fine-tuned the AI thing, and if people are really insulting and abusive, it just holds the comment back. So, you know, and I'm not going to release a comment that's abusing and insulting, so people won't see it. So if you have your opinion, whatever it is, please give it honestly. But the takeaway for this, I would say, would be, if you come to Japan, you could experience, or you probably will experience, some sort of bigotry, and when you do, you just accept it and be cool and be really nice, because a positive reaction to the bigotry is more, is going to have a better effect, or less bad effect than a negative reaction. So just be cool. If you experience any bigotry here, just be cool about it. The other one is, please behave well when you come here, because we all get labelled if you do any sort of bad behaviour here, drunken silliness, or, you know, rudeness or loudness or whatever bad behaviour you do. The bigots here will assume we're all the same, because that's just what people do, you know. Some people do. Anyway, that's more than enough of this. I don't even know if I'm going to release this yet. I'll think about it. It might not be worth the hassle. I can see why popular YouTubers only make videos about stuff that people like, because it's just so much hassle when you release videos like this. You know, the hassle and it's just not worth it. Probably. It's probably just not worth it. But anyway, we'll see. If you're watching it, it means I released it. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I was thinking of calling it I'm a bigot, what about you, or something like that, because of that guy saying that I'm a bigot too. I like that guy too, by the way. I recognise the usernames, you know, and people who are nice and reasonable and intelligent comments and things. I recognise those guys, and the people who are rude and everything. I do recognise usernames, and this guy's been watching us for years, and he's an intelligent, logical, reasonable guy. So I listened to him when he called me a bigot. When he called me a bigot for calling someone a bigot, I understand his point. I do get what he's saying. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see if you're actually watching this video, and we'll see what we call it. More videos, maybe, coming soon.